Well, today we're going to do something a bit different. I have a Metallica and a CSI pinball machine here. Oops, sorry, hit the camera there. I have a Metallica and a CSI pinball machine here, as you can see. Now, at the arcade, we only have room for 23 pinball machines, but we have 26 actually on hand at any given time. And what we do is we do a non-scheduled rotation every so often. So we got this Metallica machine roughly the summer of 2018, about 5 years ago. It's a 2016 build, but somebody bought it and sat in the box for 2 years before they decided to go ahead and sell it. And we picked it up in the summer of 2018, and it's a premium edition. And from the moment we took it out of the box, it was having issues with the magnet control fuse blowing. So doing some research after getting this and having this issue, it turns out that it's a known problem with almost all of these premium and LE Metallica machines that get regular play. Like if you buy one of these, put it in your basement, turn it on, play a couple games, turn it back off, you'll never have a problem. But for like us, it's on all the time, and it gets played and played, and in heavy use, it'll blow the magnet control fuse in the back box up there. Now, it's random. Sometimes it'll be 3 days, sometimes it'll be 3 weeks, it might be a month, it might be a week and a half. I just walk by every so often and watch someone play it, and if I notice that the sparky magnet is not throwing the ball around, I know the fuse is gone, so I'll just replace the fuse and go about my business. Now, it's been that way for roughly 5 years, the entire time we've had the machine. And I did a little research at the beginning of this getting this machine and finding this problem, and people are saying just replace the magnet control board and this problem will go away. Well, okay, but I'd like to know what the actual issue is. So I went ahead and changed the control board out. It made no difference. It still kept blowing the fuse. And other people were saying, well, you know, it could be an issue with the sense circuit for the coffin lock, which I'll show shortly. So I completely disabled the coffin lock circuit altogether and turned the coffin lock into a virtual lock. And that made no difference. It kept blowing the fuse with the coffin lock sense circuit disabled, with the coffin lock magnet disabled. It was still blowing the control fuse. So at that point, I knew it had to be something to do with either the sparky magnet or the grave magnet. Now, the grave magnet is almost never used. Nobody really ever knocks all 3 drop targets down and gets the grave multi-ball. Any standard regular player that walks up, and it's not a professional pinball player or league player or a pinhead, as we say, just a random regular person walk up and play the game, and they'll lose the balls pretty quickly. So they almost never actually get the grave multi-ball. So I concentrated my efforts on the sparky magnet, and I thought, well, let me just replace it. So, but let me go back. So for the last 5 years, I haven't done anything to try and fix this other than replace the magnet control board after it didn't fix the problem. I just kept replacing the fuse for 5 years. So I recently just acquired an Elvis machine, got the Elvis machine torn down, refurbished, and I wanted to put that on location at the arcade. The problem is something has to come out for us to put something new in. So I went ahead and thought, okay, well, if I want to put Elvis in, let's pull Metallica and deep dive into this magnet control fuse blowing problem and get it solved once and for all. So that's what I did. I brought Metallica home, I tore it all down, did a full refurb on it, cleaned the play field, added some Mylar in some spots, and I replaced both the sparky magnet and the grave magnet with brand new magnets with better thermistors. So these magnets have thermistors on them that are supposed to open up the circuit if the magnet gets too hot. So I think what was happening is the sparky magnet was the cause of our problem the entire time. And so this time around, I have replaced both the sparky magnet and the grave magnet, but not the coffin magnet, because that was completely disabled and it was still blowing the fuse, so I didn't change that out. But with the sparky magnet and the grave magnet replaced with the better thermistors, along with a new magnet control board, everything's working fine, and I think that will solve the problem. So the solution to this, I think, is a twofold issue. Put better magnets in the machine with better thermistors, and put a new magnet control board in there, because the magnet control board actually will get taken out. And I'll show you that in a moment. And I'll show you really what happens when your magnet control board gets taken out. So there is a 160 ohm resistor on the magnet control board that is part of the logic and controls the circuit, and that resistor will get overheated and taken out. if you have a situation where the thermistor isn't doing its job on the magnet. Also, there is a sense circuit for the coffin lock. When you hit the captive ball here, the captive ball will go back and hit a switch, and you lock the. You have to hit that, I think, 5 times by default, and that will activate the lock. And there is a Hall effect device inside this little plunger here. What did I do? I must have tried to hit the start button and the balls weren't loaded properly in the trough. But anyway, so it's on a free place. If I lean forward enough, I'll hit the start button by accident. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so there is a Hall effect device inside the plunger here for the coffin lock. So when you hit the captive ball 5 times, you'll audibly hear the Hall effect device kick on, and it's a sense circuit. So when the ball rolls over this, it'll grab the ball, will roll over this, and the sense circuit will grab the ball and activate the magnet and hold the ball here. The hammer will come down, hit the ball, and push it down into the coffin lock. So what's happening with the magnet control board that is on here, with the new one that I replaced like 5 years ago, it's not grabbing the ball. You can hear the Hall effect device turn on, you can hear the sense circuit turn on, and the ball rolls over here and it will not grab it. If you take the ball and lightly place it over it, you can somewhat feel a very gentle pull on it, but it does not activate the way it's supposed to. And the reason for that is because the resistor on the magnet control board is out of tolerance. And it's out of tolerance because it's got too hot, because the I think the Sparky magnet was causing it to get too hot. I don't know the exact reason, but I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure, leaning towards a bad magnet that was overheating the circuit for the control board, which was then blowing the fuse. It's just a 3 amp fuse. I don't know what the circuit is rated at, obviously 3 amps, but you know, I've seen people on Pinside talk about, I put a 4 amp fuse and they never had a problem again. Well, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. So, but that's what basically the story behind this is, that right now, the sense circuit does not function. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. Well, you fixed it by replacing the control board, but you can do it for a much cheaper option if you want. And these control boards aren't going to be available forever. So I'm going to show you how to fix this problem. But first, let's show you what's actually happening. I've described it, but let's show it in action. So I guess the easiest way to do this would be to start a game here. There we go. And we will launch the ball. Not going to show you how to do the super skill shot. Okay, I need 2 hands for that. Okay, so I'm going to keep hitting the slingshot to prevent the ball search from happening. But you'll see here that if I hit the captive ball, it'll show that see, there's four more for lock. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now if I hit this one last time, you'll audibly hear the sense circuit activate and the Hall effect device turn on. So I talked too long. I talked too long. Okay, so now here we go. 1, 2, 3. There, hear that? Now what should happen is, if I put this ball over here, the magnet should be turning on. That Hall effect device should kick on and sense the ball, and it should lock the ball onto this magnet, but nothing's happening. And it's not the Hall effect device or the circuit, it's something with the control board. And I'll show you what that problem is here. So what we'll do is I'll fix the issue. Then I'll show you again that you'll see that when this is active and the ball rolls over here and hits the Hall effect device, it will grab that and lock it right on, and it'll pound the ball down into the coffin like it's supposed to. So there, you heard it turn off when I lost the ball, and then when the ball kicks out and I cross this switch up here, it will turn the lock back on. There you go. So, yeah. Well, let me just turn this off here. Over the years, this has just completely been disabled. And I'd like to get this working. So let's lift this up and I'll show you what the problem is. Okay, so here is the playfield lifted, obviously, and I want to show these magnets. So these are, I don't know, why are you, There you go, stupid thing. Okay, so these are brand new magnets for the Sparky and for the Grave. And you can see here that it's got this thermistor installed here around the wrap and the core of the magnet. Here is the original one. The original one I took out, you can see that it's pretty much nothing. The thermistor is actually right, focus, right in there. It's a very tiny little thermistor. And you can also see that there's not as much wrapping around this magnet. There's a gap here in the plastic compared to this one. So putting more updated, better magnets in here, I think really will solve the issue. But the Grave and the Sparky magnets are replaced with brand new ones with better thermistors. What's supposed to happen is, I keep saying this, the thermistor is a device that should open up the circuit if it gets too hot. If the magnets get too hot or pull too much current or wattage, those thermistors should open up the circuit and prevent the control board from getting zapped out, and also prevent the fuse from blowing. The fuse is the last resort. So these thermistors should act like they should open up the circuit and prevent the fuse from blowing. And I think that was not happening with these older ones with the less beefiness, if you will. So I replaced both the original ones with two brand new ones, and I'm pretty sure that'll solve the problem. But the reason the sense circuit is not working, even after doing all this, is because if we look at the control board, look at that resistor there. Now you would think that that's fine because it's not burned up, there's no black marks, it's intact, it's not exploded. But look how discolored, or not discolored I should say, look how defaced the silkscreen is. Now that's not unnormal. That is somewhat normal. When resistors get very hot, the silkscreen can become defaced like that. That's not out of the realm of normality for a high wattage resistor like this to have that happen. So you may not immediately think that that resistor is faulty, but it is. It's supposed to be a 160 ohm resistor. So now that you have seen the issue with this and the sense circuit not working, I'm going to pull this out and we'll go do some contrast and comparative readings on this, and I'll show you why this is not functioning when it comes to the sense circuit. All right, back on the bench here for our little show and tell, and I've got two brand new control boards, and this is the original one here. So the problem is this resistor. I don't know what causes this resistor to burn up, but I think this resistor is rated at too low of a wattage. It's supposed to be a 5 watt, well it is, it's a 5 watt, 160 ohms. So if we measure this new one, we get $158. If we measure this one I just took out of the machine with the defaced silkscreen, we get 573. So the question now is it the resistor that's out of tolerance or something else on the circuit? So we have to remove the resistor from the circuit, and the resistor reads 570 ohms. So hypothetically, we should be able to remove this resistor, replace it, and the sense circuit will function again. So that is what we're going to do. Let's do it from this side. Now, because I believe that this is a wattage issue, I think this is underrated for the draw that is required for the sense circuit. What caused this to go out? I don't know if it was the original Sparky magnet or the coffin magnet. No, I'm sorry. The coffin magnet and the sense circuit has been disabled for 5 years, and it still did this. Because I had to replace that control board trying to figure out the problem. So the original control board stopped working just like this one did for the sense circuit. So I disabled the coffin magnet circuit and sense circuit completely and put a new control board in, and it still burned this resistor up. So this was definitely caused by the Sparky magnet or the Sparky magnet or the Grave magnet. So at this point, what's causing this? Well, I think it's those original magnets with the lower rated or whatever thermistors. That's my hypothesis. And replacing those thermistors and replacing the magnets, I think will fix the problem permanently. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So rather than put a new control board in, I want to test this theory. Now, or actually it's a hypothesis. Once I prove it, then it's a theory. So you'll notice here that it is silkscreened for a larger resistor. The dashed line and then the hard line. So this is what's used from the factory, but there is a silkscreen here for a larger resistor. So I bought some 10 watt resistors. Now I couldn't find 160, so I got 150. That should work just fine. This shouldn't cause a problem because the actual one that's on here is 158. Yeah, so I'm going to just use 150 ohm. That's not going to cause a problem. Don't get your knickers all in a twist. If I could get the stupid things out of here, good Lord. There we go. So I am going to install a 10 watt resistor. Then we're going to go put this back in the machine, and I'll bet you that our sense circuit will function. So if you have a Metallica Premium, I'm going to be posting this in various places. If you have a Metallica Premium, I would highly suggest replacing this 5 watt resistor with a 10 watt resistor. Because being the betting man that I am, I opened up the wrong hole needlessly. Being the betting man that I am pretty sure that having that 10 watt resistor versus the 5 watt resistor will make all the difference in the world when it comes to how this circuit functions. This is not jiving here, so let's just poke a hole. When in doubt, poke a hole. Yes, I can hear you screaming, why don't you just use a desoldering gun? Well, it's out of commission, and I haven't gotten around to replacing it yet. Good Lord. Well, we're going to do the old-fashioned trick here. Add a bunch of new solder. And voila! Open. Okay, so let's fold these down. And like a glove. Put that right there. Do what we have to do. Clip this off. And there we have it. So and it's a little too close to the board there, but it's not in direct contact. But let's measure this one, see how close we are to 158, and we get 150, so close enough. So I think that'll work. Let's go put this back in the machine and see if our sense circuit still operates. Make sure Sparky works, make sure the grave magnet works, and yeah, if you got a Metallica Premium or an LE, I should say if you have a Premium or LE, it's the same game, just different artwork. You're paying $3 grand more for artwork, special badge. Yeah, let's go put this back in the machine and make sure all the magnets work. And if you got one of those with a faulty system, I would suspect replace this, probably get you going again. And I would also change the magnets out. But yeah, let's go see what happens. All right, updated resistor control board is back in. Let's see if we can lower this. And get it back down. Put the balls back in. Fire it back up. Start a game. Launch the ball. And here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. It's snake. And okay, sense circuit is active. Here we go. Boop. So yeah, if you have a non-functioning sense circuit or other magnet issues, check that resistor. If it's bad, replace it. I recommend going 10 watt, and I'll bet you everything's good now. So we gotta make sure Sparky's okay. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, that's good. No doubt there. Yeah, I got the audio turned down, sorry. So we'll let this multi-ball die here. Gotta wait for the shoot again to stop flashing. And then I want to check. Come on. There we go. Then I want to check the grave here. 1, 2, 3. Yep, grave works. All right. Multi-ball. So, all right, I'm gonna turn this off. All the magnet system is now functional. So, yeah, I think upgrading the magnets with the better thermistors and the more windings, along with the magnet control board resistor being replaced, will usually, well, I say usually, I assume usually, because I'm the first person I think that's done this, should fix the problem. So that's going to be about it. Wanted to point that out. And this is ready to rotate back in whenever we get something else that needs to come out. So as you see here, I have CSI. It's been torn down and fully refurbished, and it's basically mint condition now. Might as well show it while it's here. Did a full teardown on this and a cleaning and everything, and LEDs and you name it. It's basically brand new. Obviously color DMD and everything. The cabinet is flawless, not a scratch on it, both sides. And of course the old Adams Family Pinball playfield. Adams Family, I don't know why I said pinball. Adams Family playfield, the old playfield here from the swap. In this box I have Baby Pac-Man. That's going to be the next playfield swap, so that should be fun. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. So if you got issues with your Metallica Premium or your LE, I would check that stuff out, or invest in some new magnets and replace that resistor, and should be good to go. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.